Okay, before we get Jim his last closing, I'd like the audience to ask questions. Anyone?
Okay, I'm gonna, before I get to my own, I want to go back to number 3. The question is, neighboring cities such as La Habra, Fullerton, and Placentia have all cut salaries. You made a comment that you didn't feel, correct me if I'm wrong, that we should tinker or deduct from direct pay. In as much as the city enacted an ordinance for street sweeping that most of us find abominable, wouldn't it have been much more appropriate for the 100,000 plus club to have stepped up and donated 10% to fill this small hole in our budget?
I don't think that you can ask anybody from the top of the city staff down to the lowest service worker to give up their direct pay. Right? That's just a feeling I have. I mean, it got very dire, maybe, if they volunteered it, maybe. But I just don't think you can take people's direct pay away.
Well, in conjunction with that same question, do you feel we have the right people in these positions who are not willing to do what the surrounding cities did?
I have a great respect for our city staff, and they do a good job, and they need direction. They do need direction from us. If I look around and say we have a great city, and they're a component of it, council needs to run it. But I don't believe in taking direct pay away from anybody.
Even the fact that we didn't have not one single one step up and voluntarily make a contribution.
Well, let me ask you this, Keith. Did you make a voluntary contribution on whatever it got you out of? That's a tough nut. I'm not trying to put you on the spot here.
You're not putting me on the spot.
No, but
I was furloughed. I lost 10% last year. As a faculty member, I was furloughed last year. I lost 10% money from last year. So I mean, the point is, it is a reality that it hasn't happened. So as distasteful as it is, I was not happy to be either. But hopefully it didn't save someone else.
I think the big question actually is, as a council member, you're like, it comes down to what do you commit to doing for those necessary things?
I would say you're going to keep it frozen until we're out of the recession era.
Can I put a little insight on that? It's tough as an employee, which I am, to take a cut when we see these really poor financial decisions being made by the city. I'll give you an example of the sports market. It's $500,000 a year to maintain that. And it just goes on and on and on every year. And you see this, why are we doing stuff like this when times are tough,
Sports Park was thought out a long time before this recession happened. It's part of the value of our community. Paid for redevelopment, question that or not. It's here. It's part of the value of our property. We live and breathe are all business partners. You're charging the council with making your business decisions. That's what drives the value of our property. Each one of us, things like that. And I'm not saying that we should continue to do things in our recessionary time. Sports work go before that, community center go before that, that we need to use our redevelopment money wisely. And I understand what you're saying, it's a general fund is paying for the sports park now, it's there.
It is, and it's just a bad time.
I'm saying that, I know you're a fireman, we know each other on a somewhat personal level, that I have been very critical about the fire plan, getting this misconceived notion to save an overtime from you guys, when it really reduces service. It's okay, this is costing you no more to be on overtime. Why are you taking direct pay away from these guys? You need to, that's created another component of the morale issue that needs to be dealt with within your department, which is our chief responsibility of the city manager. Then if it's not taken care of, the council needs to, hey, city manager, fire chief, fix this problem. We don't have the employees. I don't know if that answers your question, but it kind of gives direction where I'm from.
Yeah, and so let me just kind of maybe educate the room here. Overtime is kind of a bad word when they talk to the public. And it's a third savings to the general fund when you hire back another fireman, because you're not paying a total package for that safety person. So it's a big savings for the city to hire back.
I want to expound on it, and I bothered and I have sent him emails. I don't think your council really understands it. That being in business, being with labor contracts, that this overtime thing keeps thrown out there. No, we're taking 3 guys off a shift out of the station, and you're banking on sick call to make your budget. That straight time is paid at 1.6 days pay when you have a fringe. When you have overtime, you have no fringe payment, it's 1.5. I calculated based on the city's numbers that overtime actually saved $50,000 last year. Not that's a huge piece of the budget, but it's cheaper. And if you can take your employees and give them better take-home pay,
You're correct, and that's out of the right side of the mouth to hear about all this big, how much it costs, but you're not hearing the left side, the savings.
You took 9 firefighters, or anticipate 9 firefighters out of the ring. That is 20 to 25% of your firefighters. How much are we taking 20 to 25% out of administration as well? I mean, that's a consideration. I've been very critical of that plan.
Paul, I want everybody to have a chance to ask a question. I do have a follow-on to the sports department question. If you want me to wait on that.
Grab a read first and we'll come back.
Yeah.
Bills.
Oh, no.
It's not true.
You're having your own
I have my question. No, the past meetings we have, what we've done is we've read one question at a time and ask you to explain it, and then go back to the clients and what they, one question, and come back to this, and go back and forth, so you aren't hogging all the time. Essay.
What do you ask me to do? Somebody answer every
Well,
question.
you ask the questions and you answer the questions, yeah.
Question one.
You want to answer that?
Are we gonna be here another 2 hours?
I'll just, last point, go back to everybody else. Do you support Station 4 at Hollydale in the village being staffed with 1 fireman and 1 apprentice and 0 paramedics?
I support that Hollydale would have the same level of service that we have anywhere else. The way it's run now, it's not really a fire station. My biggest concern is that you don't have coverage during traffic hours, getting that engine up there. I believe there should be some out of the box thinking and say, you know what, any day, an engine coming from Station 3 should probably be in the village during, your 4 to 7 hours and maybe in the morning, so that if something happens up there, you have coverage. I think that we have enough with Station 1, 2, and 3 to cover each other down here, because you can traverse the city much easier than you can get from Station 3 in the candy where there's traffic. I mean, I'm not saying that. Let's say the Station 4. You gotta wonder if that's really effective.
Questions?
Along the same lines with the fire, last weekend, the heat wave, I saw in the news, other areas where they have their staff to just be prepared just in case. And I checked with the Brea Fire Department, and they were below normal service levels, and it was not authorized for them to be, staffed up. And I mean, as a council person, wouldn't that be something, a council person would check on and maybe, try to make sure that, we're in a fire area, as we all know.
I think you would expect that the council person would watch that specifically, but I think the direction needs to be made. This is the responsibility of our fire chief. If that was brought to me, we weren't taking care of that. Yes, then I'd say, hey, fire chief, city manager, what's going on here? We're not I have come out of a very expense-controlled environment in my work. This is a necessary item. You cannot totally sprinkle it. You can't get more savings out of something that's saving somebody's life. That's inexcusable. I don't know how I would sleep at night
Yeah.
if we let something like that go. I'm saying, if I was made aware of it, then I'd say, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, that was.
But I don't think it's the place of the council to monitor that on a daily basis. We hire people that should be doing it as part of, you know, what you're gonna get a raise on, how we're gonna rate you, and how we're gonna keep your job. And this is what you are supposed to do for us.
Yeah, more, that was more what I should have said, is if it was brought to your attention. Yeah. Yeah, we were lucky with this, nothing happened.
Monday was a red flag county-wide, the entire county was on a red flag board. We're the only city in the entire county that did not have extra units on staff just in case.
That is shameful in light of what we went through the freeway complex fire. That was, you know, our neighborhood, even though I don't think we were in a neighborhood staff, we were able to, you know, when you go live through, going through the gas station out of the back, let's pull your computer out, throw it in the car and get out of town.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that I never want to live through again. And, you know, you need to be ready for that.
Well,
If you have any questions, real quick?
actually, I was going to ask, I'm deferring now because something else came up. Because I raised such a big stink about what had happened during the last firestorm. A gentleman from the county contacted me and assured me that the hillsides to the west, excuse me, to the east of the high school would no longer be a problem, and that the county was working with our fire chief to mitigate that problem from ever reaching the proportions that it had when our continuation school was burned practically to the ground. Now my question is this to you. Do you feel they have followed through to remediate the problem on the east side of Wildcat Way?
I think, to me, I'm a layman, I'm not a fireman or a fire expert, so I can't give you an absolute answer. I still see the right brush out there, but there's still a way for a fire to traverse through there. But I would have to defer to somebody who really knows about it.
I can answer that. We do have a new fire break up there, and it's a good fire break, but you know they're only as good as how the wind is blowing.
I'd have to say that exactly.
The wind's blowing, a fire break, we popped right over it.
No, let's say that I would think the 57 freeway would be a good fire break.
Absolutely.
57, so
Yeah.
that.
Only problem is we have a little community up there that has 2,000 people every day.
There is always, I think there's always a danger of that happening again. I don't think you can say that you're safe from fire not happening there.